Thanks for joining me on how to make the best unicorn piñata. Now, it's not the best because it's better than everyone else's. It's just the best because I believe that when you make it yourself, it's the best. Now, this is what we're going to need to get started. You're going to need a stack of newspaper, or sorry, not newspaper, but ad papers. It's good because it's free. You're also going to need something to draw a straight edge with. And you're also going to need about 16 ounces of all-purpose white glue, a bowl or a dish that's about 8 inches across, a couple rolls of clear tape. Get it at the dollar store. It's the best place. Some scissors, one of them at least heavy duty for cutting cardboard, a box cutter or something similar, a couple pens to write things down with and make lines, some cordage. Now I got this clothesline stuff, and it's made from polyester and propylene. I'll let you look at it there. And this is its rating. Also, you're going to need a roll of toilet paper, some colored paper like this, crepe paper or streamers. This is going to be for the color of the tail and head. And since it's a white piñata, we're going to need 3 rolls at least of white paper. Now, when you're also going to need some cardboard. Now, it's okay if it has bends in it. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you don't get this type. It's double roll. You want to get the kind that's single. It's a single layer. Sorry, not the double layer stuff, because this is a lot harder to work with. Also, you're going to need some kind of decorating paper for the end if you like. You don't really need this, but at the end of the video, you'll see how I use this one. And that's pretty much it. Let's get started. We're now going to make our body, and this is the dimensions for it. Make sure that when you cut this part out, that the natural bend of the cardboard is this way. And on the back side, I wrote this dimension here. Where this line is, this is where we are going to be taping the other edge to. Now, as you can see, I already pre-bent this piece of cardboard. A good way to do it is finding an edge of a table and bending it like this. Okay, I'm going to tape it up now. Make sure I'm putting tape on the unmarked edge. And line it up to our mark here. I'm going to tape also the edges on both ends, and I'm going to put a piece of tape inside here to make it stronger in there. Okay, now once that's done, on this seam here, you can use the line already marked here as a reference line, because this is where we are going to attach our legs to, here and here. And this is what we do for this step. We are now ready to make the 4 legs for our piñata. And these are the dimensions. Sorry. And make sure that the cardboard is bending in this direction. We also need to make a couple lines here on the back side. This line is where we are going to tape our other edge to. And this line here is for reference line for cutting. All right, now I'll roll this paper up real quick. Ta-da! All right. Now I'm going to tape the unmarked edge to the marked edge. All right, there we are. You see that? That's taping the 2 edges together or apart. put a couple piece of tape here and a piece of tape here to hold it together better. Sorry, to hold it together better. Okay, very good. Now we're going to do a little cutting. We're going to cut through this line here, and we are going to lay the part flat, and I'm going to cut up to the line, trying to avoid the double part here where the cardboard's kind of double there, because it's harder to cut. So I'm going to make it easy for myself and for you as well. So I'm cutting a strip about, I guess about 1 inch wide or so, and bending it to the line. We're still holding it flat. We bent it to the line here. Holding it flat, I'm going to do the same. Make another cut to the opposite side. And I want to make sure my cut's going to the line. And I'm going to bend it at that line as well. So we have something that looks like that, where the tabs are in the opposite direction. Now I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to cut a tab about a 1 inch width here, and also on the opposite side here. And this is what you want to have, something that looks something like that. And these other tabs here, the ones that are not bent, we're going to bend them inside, or you can cut them off if you like. I'm just going to bend them on the inside because we don't need them. And it's going to look like this. Now I've already made another leg, and we are now going to tape the parts together. Now we want to make sure we put a good amount of tape here, because this is the strength of our legs. And this is what they look like. And I already made another set here. So this is what we're going to have when we're done. We are now ready to continue making our piñata. We are going to need 4 circles of this dimension. And if you don't have a compass or some other instrument to make round circles, you can use a plate like I did. I was lucky enough to find one that had that 8-inch diameter. Now we're going to use 2 for the body, and 2 circles are going to be used for the head later. Now we're going to draw some lines all the way around the body in preparation for the attachment of the legs and the construction of the piñata. As you can see here, I already drew lines here and here, and this is dimension. I also did it on both sides. All right, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to cut to the line every 1.5 inches or 2 inches apart. And we'll do the same to the other side. Very good. Now what we're going to do is bend to the line. Sorry. We're going to bend to the line here. Every other tab. good, except for this one here. I work on that bend here. Cardboard can be tough sometimes when you work on it. Okay, so you want to get something that looks like that. Now we're going to put one of our circles inside the opening we made. And it's going to be sitting on those tabs like that. So now we're going to bend these tabs around there and tape them. Now you can be generous with the tape here, because if you put too small pieces, these tabs have a tendency to pop up because there is some tension on this on these tabs. Okay, so you have something that looks like that, kind of like a drum. All right, we're going to be making two strips of cardboard at this dimension. And we are going to tape those pieces of cardboard to the bottom of the legs to ensure that we get equal spacing between them. So just put on one piece here. I'm going to put an extra one in here because I don't think that one held. Well, that was not holding. Okay, I think that'll work. Now we got our spacing for that pair of legs. And I'll do the same for the other one. For some reason this tape is not holding that well, but I will just put another couple extra pieces of tape to make sure that it holds. Okay. All right, there's our other pair. Now here's our body, and we are going to attach the one set of legs to this part. Now we're going to use that line that we drew on the body when we put the parts together. As I mentioned before, as reference line, we're going to center our legs between the line. So the line goes in the middle, and we're going to make sure that our legs are going to be even with the edge of the body here, like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Once you get your legs centered on the line, it's probably better to take these two front tabs here to the body to make sure we got that nice even edge here. And next I will take these two here. You might have to do a little bending of the tab so it doesn't force the leg to move in any other direction, to keep them where they are. I use a lot of tape here when you're taping the legs together because you don't want the legs to give up, because this is where all our support is going to be for the weight of the candy. Now I'm going to do the same to the other side. When I put this set of legs here, I'm going to put those line, the edge of the leg to the line, not over to the edge. You don't want to do that because we're going to be bending this later. So that's why we are going to put the edges of our leg to the line. And like the other set, we're going to center these legs on this line here. So the line goes between the two legs here. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. Now on this set, I am not going to tape these tabs here on the ends of the legs. I'm going to pass on those now, but I just want to make sure that I line that up with the center here. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm taping the center here. Oh, that's not good. I'm going to tape this part here first. And then I'm going to tape this one and this one. And it looks like this one, you can see, it's not conforming to the roundness of the body. So I'm going to manipulate the tab a little so it conforms to the body shape. It doesn't fight against the roundness of the body, but works with it. So you can see I kind of bent it so now it's nice and smooth. And I'm doing the same to the other one, using a generous amount of tape to tape these tabs to the body. And now I'm also going to tape these side tabs on the body, both sides. When you tape this set of legs to the line, don't put the tape over the line here because it might interfere with the operation later. But we'll put more tape on this tab later to reinforce it. We will now continue. As you see here, the legs are pretty uniform in position because of the spacers we put on the bottom. All right, now we left this end open because we're going to do the candy test. And the whole purpose of the candy test is to make sure that your piñata can hold the weight of the candy. And it's better to find out now, while nobody's looking, that it will not fall apart and cause an embarrassment. So this is about 3 pounds of candy I'm putting inside here. Trying to put in. All right, you can see the candy's all in and our piñata is holding up pretty well. Now if there's any issues, you can address them now. Like for example, if you see that the legs are coming apart, just add extra tape, and that's pretty much it. Now just take out the candy. What we have here? You didn't see that. Now we can go ahead and seal up our other end. And we're going to do the same thing that we did to the front, as we're going to bend the tabs here, every other tab, to give us something for the circle to be seated on. Looks like I forgot to cut a tab here. Okay. Okay, like before, that's what we're going to have. And we're going to put our other circle inside and tape it up. Always have some pre-cut tape ahead. It makes it so much easier to do this step. Remember to put big pieces of tape because little pieces of tape will not hold up because of the tension of the tabs. And also, you can go ahead and tape the tabs on this set of legs onto it now. I'm putting extra big pieces here, especially where the legs attach to the body. This will help give strength to the back, or I call it the back legs. We are now ready to make the neck. Here's the dimensions for the neck here and here. Make sure that the natural bend of the cardboard is this direction. As you can see, I already pre-bent this one. On the other side, we have this dimension here, this dashed line here, where we are going to attach the other end of the neck to here later. And we have these two dimensions here, here and here, where we are going to be using these lines to cut to later when we attach the neck to the head and to the body. Now we will put the neck together. Starting at the unmarked edge, we are going to put together to as close as we can to the dashed line that we did earlier. Now I'm going to put some tape on the ends to make it stronger. Very good. Now I'm going to cut on the 4-inch side from the edge all the way down, and I'm going to be cutting about all the way to the line here. I'm going to be cutting these tabs to about 2 inches in width here. And I'm going to bend them, of course, to our 4-inch line. And if they're a little less than 2 inches, it's okay. It's probably even better. So now just bend all the tabs to that 4-inch mark all the way around. Now we're ready to attach our neck to the body. We're going to put the neck on the body now, but before we attach the neck to the body, we're going to crumple up all these tabs that we cut. So you can see I bent them up pretty well. And the reason for that is when we put the neck on the body, that it's a lot easier to tape the tabs to the body because it's a circular surface that we're going to be taping to. Here's one tab that I didn't do. I'll show you how I just crumble it up. You just like crumble it the best you can, with the best way you can. Many different directions. Just really want to beat that tab up so it doesn't have any will of its own. It conforms to your power. There you go. All right. Now you can put the neck this position where it's vertical, or you can put it slightly forward and this position. And I'm going to do it in this position here because I like it better. And I'm going to tape the double-sided one here because it's a lot easier to tape this on than putting these on because it's double-sided, and I don't have to worry about crumbling it up because it's a lot harder because it's double thickness. So I'm going to use the part that we taped together and tape it in this position here, and I'm going to put that on the top part of the neck here. I'm sorry, part of the body is where I'm going to start here. I'm going to anchor it there. There you go. And I want to go ahead and tape the neck tabs to the body, making sure that the position of my neck stays where I want to as I go along. Now when you get to the neck, when you get to the tabs of the neck where it comes to the contact with the surface of the body here, just tape it on there. Don't really worry about them being flat or anything, because we're going to put some newspaper here over the neck tabs where they meet the body, so you're not going to see anything. So just doesn't have to look pretty. It's all going to be hidden later down the road. See, there you see, mine's hopefully you'll be able to see how mine kept. There's spaces in there like you could see, but it's just taped to the body, and you just tape that all the way around. Make sure you put a good amount of tape again around this so it'll be secure to the neck. We are now ready to make the head of the piñata. We're going to need one piece that's this long and this wide, making sure that the natural bend of the cardboard is in this direction. We are also going to need two pieces like this. Now I'm going to tape these two pieces together at the same time because I found it easier, and I have already some pre-cut tape that I taped to the bowl. So let's get started. Putting a couple pieces here on the top one here, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the same to the other side. I try to keep the cardboard on top of the edge here, not underneath, because it's hard to tape together, so just barely on top of it. Try to flush it as close as I can. And repeating it all the way down. And this is basically how we make the head. We're now going to take this piece here, which is the nose piece, and we're going to attach it to the head of the piñata. This is the dimension here, making sure that the cardboard bending in this direction. And here is the width here, and here is a line here that we drew, and that dimension is right here. And you guessed it, it's where we're going to tape the other end to. So let's get taping. Okay, looks good. Let's get a little circular shape. Now, in order to help keep the circular shape, I'm going to get a piece of ad paper and crumble it up and stuff it inside there to help keep the round shape when we attach it to the head. Now, we're basically going to just center this nose piece here onto the head, giving equal spaces here and here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, try to keep that roundness there. Okay, more pieces. Now it doesn't have to be perfectly round at this point because this whole assembly is going to be covered up with newspaper. But a little roundness doesn't help, doesn't hurt at all. All right, and this is our completed head assembly. We're now ready to put the head of the piñata on the neck. But before we start cutting into the neck, consider the position of the head that you want it in. This is the nose and also the front of the face. So, whatever position that you like, set the piñata down. I'll face it this way so you can see what I mean. And you're going to draw lines straight down from the edge of the piñata down to this line here. And do the same thing on this side, straight down to the line, and also you're going to do it on the back side here, which you can't see. So I went ahead and drew my lines and I cut it. So basically you got a slot where the head is going to slide into. And if you want to position your head of the piñata looking like it's looking off in the distance or looking down, this to me seems more like a natural position for the head of the unicorn. So I'm going to tape it right here with some big pieces of tape. I'll probably add a couple more pieces, but you get the idea. And this is how we put the head on the neck. We are now ready to talk about putting the harness on the body of the piñata. Now the harness is the rope or cordage that we're going to put around the body in order to hang it. As you can see, I made a belly piece of newspaper or ad paper in this case. And the whole purpose of this piece here that I taped on is to make sure that this rope doesn't slide when we put it on later. Well, as you can see, this shape is roughly the shape of a bicycle seat, the old-fashioned ones anyway. And here are the dimensions, roughly. Yours may vary. But the important thing is when you put this belly piece on is to make sure there's a space here between the belly and the back legs. And the whole purpose of that is to make sure that when we put a harness on this way, which we will do, that it doesn't move around, and this belly piece secures this from sliding. Now when you put your belly piece on, make sure that you put a lot of tape here so the rope doesn't go underneath and pull this belly piece off. And when you put your tape on, make sure that it's smooth to the body all the way around, including here in the front here. And that's pretty much it. We're ready to move on. Now I made the belly piece by getting a piece of ad paper and crumbling up a bunch of smaller pieces of ad paper, oops, that one got away, and then folding it in the large piece and then taping it to get the shape. Okay, now we are ready to put on the harness. A little piece getting away here. Okay. Now, I'm going to use this rope here. Now this rope I did not buy at the dollar store because this is about safety. And you're going to need about this length of rope or cordage. And it's been rated at 24 pounds working rate, or the other one, 10.9 kilograms. So it can handle some weight. So we're going to get our piece and we're going to fold it in half so there's a loop on one end. Now make sure that the ends are together here. Okay. Now we're going to loop around the back end through the loop. As you can see here. Now we want to make sure that this rope here does not go over the belly muscle, but between the legs and the belly muscle. That's the reason for this piece here. It's to hold it in place. Now making this taunt, tighten it up a bit, and you're going to tie it up in a knot. Okay, there we go. Now we'll make sure snug it up pretty well. You don't want it to be loose, and then okay, there we are. There, now we got a nice knot. Now we're going to slide this knot underneath the bottom of the piñata, so it's in the middle of, or between the two legs are here. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, there we are. And we're going to run up the line between the front legs here, and we're going to tie a knot here in front of the chest area. Okay, there's our knot, and now we're going to split the ends around the neck. I'm going to adjust the camera here in a second. It's a little low. All right, sorry about that. Now, keeping this line taut, you want to make sure we don't have any slack here. Make sure everything's okay up front. Now we're going to tie a knot here to make sure that this is pretty snug to the neck. And put a little tightness on it if you want. It's not going to hurt nothing. And then we're going to secure that knot with another knot, like so. See, pretty snug there. Now, what we're going to do now is put some knots, about 3 or 4 knots as we go down. And you'll see why in a second. Now I put 3 knots there, as you can see. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to tie this underneath this loop here. Now I'm going to bring the line on the top of this back strap so it's diagonal on both sides. And I'm going to pull tight here. And then I'm going to tie these off. Tie them off so it doesn't go anywhere. So the harness along our piñata is tight. You can go nuts here, put as many knots as you like. We don't want this falling apart while it's being swung up in the air and kids are hitting it and stuff. Okay, this is pretty snug. Now with the X's, I'm going to cut off probably about here. And the same on the other side. After we cut our rope, we are now going to tuck them in the harness here and here. Get a little better. And we're going to secure them in place with some tape. I will put more on later, but this is just to show you that this is what we do here. Now, the whole purpose of these knots is to keep the rope that we're going to attach to it from sliding. Because without those knots and you put a rope on here, it could slide around a lot. So that's the whole purpose of those knots. Now this is our simulated rope that we're going to hang our piñata with. I am going to put it in this position here. Just to show you how it would hang if we put it there. No, not good. Okay, I'm going to move it to a different position between these two knots up front. Kind of hard to see, but there's a knot here and there's a knot here. And it hangs in a good place. Now the center of the piñata might change a bit once the candy is inside, but these knots here provide a good option in case you don't like the way it's hanging. And you don't need this rope anymore until you're ready to hang your piñata. And that's how we do it. Now we're going to put some shape on our feet. As you can see, I already removed the brace. Oh, there it is. And so we don't need them anymore. And we're going to give our feet kind of like a bell bottom shape on them. And let's get started. Okay, as you can see, I already done the other three. So the first step you do is get a piece of paper, crumple it up, and put it inside here. This will give some strength as we work around the edges, putting on the hoof or bell bottom. Okay, now we're going to get a piece of paper and we're going to crumple it up. And to make it easier, I kind of twisted it a little bit so it holds its shape as I work with it. Now we're going to tape it on to the bottom of our feet and we're going to work our way around. Around the bottom of the feet and tape it in different areas to make sure it doesn't move. All right. Now, next is we're going to get a piece of paper. I folded this ad paper in half. And it's going to go to probably about a little bit above the middle part of the leg. And we're going to wrap this around. Try to keep the paper straight and from wrinkling if you can. And I'm taping the other side. All right. Now, we're going to take the top part and we're going to snug it up to the top only. And so I'm getting this excess here and I'm going to pinch it and I'm pulling it over and I'm going to tape it. Hope you can see this pretty good. Some loose parts here. And, oh, no, it's okay. All right. In the camera here, it looks like there's a loose part, but anyway, now we got our bell-shaped feet. The next step we're going to do is we're going to put the bottoms on, like I did here earlier. So to do this, very simple, put a piece of cardboard there on the bottom and trace the bottom of the foot. So you get a perfect circle, like I did. Just kidding. And I'm going to cut the paper off the cardboard. It doesn't have to be exact, but just close enough. And then I'm going to tape it in. And that's how we do our feet of our piñata. Now, in order to give your piñata a more natural look, you're going to need to put some padding in the front, in the chest area, and some on the back area. Now, the padding here on the front and back was made the same way I made the bottom padding, except, of course, it's a different shape. Now, I also went ahead and made a door for the candy. This door also has a little tab in it. Now, I bent the door so you're not fighting it, putting in, closing the door or opening it. Now we're going to need to put a piece of paper around the neck to give it also a more natural look. And the piece you're going to need is going to be roughly about this length and this height. So once you got your paper, you're going to fold it in half, and we're going to put it around the lower neck of the piñata, like a collar on a shirt. And we're going to put a piece here to hold it in place, and we'll probably need a couple more pieces here and there to hold this piece in place. And that's it. We are now going to put some padding on the sides of the head. As you can see, I already went ahead and did this. We need to put some padding on the tip of the nose as well. Next, I will show you how I formed the padding for the sides of the head. I hope you will find it helpful. As you can see, I already went ahead and put some padding on the nose piece, and I just wrapped paper around and around, and then I taped it so it's smooth to the tip of the nose and also flush with the head all the way around. It's also important not to forget to put some padding underneath here so you get a nice smooth transition from the tip of the nose to the neck. I am now going to show you how I made the padding for the sides of the head. First, start with a piece of paper that I already crumbled up. You can see I already crumbled up this too. And you just keep going like so, making your round shape as you go. Now, I found it easier, instead of trying to tape it up like this with the last piece of paper, to actually flip this around like this, and putting it in this last piece, and then go ahead and tape it up like this to give it a nice round shape. Okay, now you might want to experiment with the amount of paper that you're using, because if you don't put enough paper, the padding might be too flat. But if you put too much paper, it might be too round. So I just do a little experimenting and then put it on the sides of the head without taping it to see how it looks for you. We are now going to make the ears for our piñata. Now, of course, you can make your ears any way you want, but I am showing you how I made these ones. Now, here are the ears. As you can see, I bent them to give them a more natural look. And when you cut your cardboard, make sure that the cardboard is bending in this direction. Now, the way I made them, I got a piece of paper and I folded it in half, and then with a pencil I lightly drew this shape here, and one for the bottom one, which is slightly curved, it's not flat. And then once I liked the shape, I darkened the lines, and then I cut them out with some scissors. After I cut the piece out, I came out with something like this. And when I fold it, there's our ear shape. So then the next step is to put it on some cardboard. Again, making sure that the cardboard is bending in the right direction, which is this way. And then I trace the ears and I cut them out. Now, if you're wondering what the dimensions are for the ears, here they are. And that's how we make our ears for our piñata. I'm now going to show you how I made the horn for the unicorn. First, get a piece of ad paper and start twisting it into a cone shape. Now, once you have your cone shape that you like, go ahead and put a piece of tape on there. And you want to fold the ends in here a little bit. Kind of give it a nice flat base. Now, because we're going to be adding tape to the horn later, and it has no body, it's really flimsy, we are going to put some more ad paper, crumble it up. This first piece is going in here, so I want to give it this kind of shape to give body inside. And I'm going to follow it by another piece of paper, a little wider because it's going on the base of the horn. And now we got some body to work with. Now you got the shape of your horn, and you can go ahead and put it on your piñata. Now, if you're wondering what the measurement is here, on the base, it's this. We are now ready to put our ears on the piñata. Now I went ahead and bent the ears like this because I don't like flat ears because they don't look natural. Now I'm going to put my ears in this position here. Of course, since you're the artist, you can put them any way you like. There's all types of ways, all types of positions. So anyway, let me take these on and we'll put the horn on. You don't need that much pieces of tape to tape the ear on. Just enough to hold it in place because that's all you really need. Well, this one needs a little bit more. Okay, there we are. Now I'm going to attach the horn. Now my horn, when I put it on, it was too long, so I bent it in more to give it a shorter height, and this is what I came up with the height of the horn. Now I'm going to put my horn on here and put some tape around it. Make sure it stays where I need it. Okay, and there's our piñata head, ready to go to the next step. All right, we are now ready to mummify our piñata. And for that, we're going to be using toilet paper. Yep, you heard right. Now the reason we're putting on the toilet paper, because we are going to be decorating our piñata with white streamer paper. And if you don't put toilet paper underneath, it's going to look like that when you're done. You can't see it that well, but the white coloring doesn't really do a good job of covering up the newspaper or the plain cardboard. I went ahead and made a sample and put white toilet paper underneath here. Then I covered it with our decorative white paper. As you can see, there's a difference. And that's why we're going to cover our piñata with toilet paper. Now, before you start working, make sure you cover your working area with some kind of protection so your in my case, my wife, doesn't get too mad at me. She hates messes. Now, what we're going to need is some white all-purpose glue. I got this at the dollar store, by the way. A container, I use this old bottle top from a juice container, and a small brush. And what we're going to do is put some glue in here and then just lightly paint all the way around. Do one section at a time and then just wrap your toilet paper and work your way all the way around. But when you get to this area up here where the harness is, I went ahead and put a little piece here. Just go underneath the harness the best you can. And if it's okay if it has a little bump here, it's okay if you avoid this area. And make sure to cover the piñata candy door separately. One last thing, before you put the toilet paper on your piñata, just make sure that all the shape of the legs, the butt, the chest area, the head especially, with the horns and the ears are in the right position that you like. Just to make sure that you don't have to tear it apart and do it all over again. Now when we start putting the toilet paper on the piñata, make sure to do the belly area first and underneath the head first. Now we do this first because it's the hardest part of the piñata to get to. When you do the belly area, make sure to do the inside of the legs on all 4 of your legs. This will also help later on as you put the toilet paper on your piñata. Now as you're working, you might find once this dries, which usually takes overnight, the next day if you see some color area where it's dark, where the toilet paper didn't do a good job of covering it, just add an extra piece over it and that'll take care of that. Now let's work a little bit on the leg here to show you the process of how I did the mummification. All right, got some glue here. Just going to put a little bit around the leg. Okay. Now I'm going to put my paper, toilet paper around the leg here. And as you can see, I made a little extra because you want this piece longer to get good coverage. But you notice that it's not sticking, right? So all you got to do is put some more glue in this area. And there it's holding pretty well. Now sometimes you'll find that it's got little loose corners and stuff. Just put a little glue over the edge and it'll hold it in place. Now we're going to put another piece on this leg because I want to show you that you got to do some overlapping when you put your next piece on. So you have to put glue on the toilet paper as well as the area that you're going to cover up. This will make sure that we have good toilet paper adhesion. There we go. And you can see once again I got some loose paper here. So I'll just add a little bit more glue. And that's it. Now you just continue the process for the rest of the piñata. As you can see, the piñata is now finished. It's also dry because I let it dry in a warm place overnight. And I did not forget to cover the door as well. Now, what I wanted to show you is I had already started on the bottom, worked my way from the center out on both sides, and I put some between the legs on the front. Hopefully you can see that. And on the back side here, it's hard to see, but I started the paper also in there as well. And as you notice, I already started coloring the feet. Now, the way I cut the paper is cut out a section and then fold it a couple times. And just cut it about halfway. The closer you make your cuts, the more frilly it's going to be. Totally up to you. You're the artist. And then you just lower this camera here, bring it a little closer so you can see better. Oh, there we go. All right. Now get some glue. Just put it around certain places. It doesn't have to be completely all the way around. Just 3 or 4 places is fine. And then you unfold the cut paper and just start anywhere you like. And start at the very bottom and then slowly go up as you go. There we go. Now I'm also going to touch up some little bit of glue there on the top to make sure it doesn't slide down, just in case I didn't put enough glue. Now you continue the process all the way up. I wanted to give you a little update on my progress on my piñata. As you can see, I went from white to blue and it looks like it's coming out pretty well. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about the coloring of the hooves. Now you could use the colored paper here, or if you don't want to, you could use colored duct tape. There's more than this color I've seen. You could also use colored construction paper or even gift wrap paper. As you continue putting the colored paper on your piñata, you want to make sure you're going in this direction here. And you could stop when you get to about this area here. And you also want to do the same layering on the butt this direction. As you can see, I went all the way and covered the entire butt. And I made a slot here. And this slot is not in the padded area where the newspaper is, because try to cut a slot here, it's going to be too difficult and it's in the wrong area anyway. So this is just above the padded area behind the door. So in that little section here is where you're going to make your slot, where you're going to insert the tail. Now these are the three colors I am going to use for the hair on the piñata. Now I went ahead and cut a section of colored paper, and I put it here to give me a good indication of how long the tail is going to be. Now when I make my hair, I fold the paper like this, leaving a little tab here. And I'm going to cut the paper 3 times, making sure I cut all the way up over the folded section of the paper, like that. So, and you just shake it loose, and there you have your hair. I will show you the next step as soon as I get the table ready. As you can see, I cut 3 different lengths of colored paper. Now I did this because I like the way it looks when it comes together. Now you don't have to do that, of course. You can make 1 length and that's just fine. This represents 30 different pieces of cut paper, and that's 10 of each color. Now once you get your paper cut, randomly pick different colors and different lengths and put them together. As an example, I put these 3 together, and you're going to also need to cut yourself a letter T. It's a small little letter T. It's about the width of a finger. You know, no dimensions needed. And you're going to tape the ends of your colored paper to this part of the T here. And then once that's done, you're going to get the T here and you're going to bend the top of it. So it's one piece here. And this is going to slide into the slot that we made on the piñata. Now to simulate it, this slot, on the piñata, I'm going to use my fingers. So you're going to slide the T, the top of the T into the piñata, and you see how the cardboard opens up. This is going to lock the tail section inside the piñata so it doesn't come out. And I'm going to put together this whole assembly, and we're going to insert it in the piñata so you can see how it looks like when we're done. Here you see the tail assembly put together and taped to the letter T. Now when you tape the colored paper to the letter T, make sure that you flatten this out as much as possible so it goes into the slot easily. Now I'm going to put this on here to simulate that I put it inside the slot so you can see what it looks like. Not bad, I like it. Now if you don't want to do all the work of making a tail like this, you can go ahead and go to the dollar store and buy yourself some colored ribbon, like I did. Now this is a nice piece. I like the way it looked. I like the curls. But I found that you put it on here, it's kind of a short tail, and I didn't really like the look that much. So what you can do is, like what I did, is I stretched it out and cut some pieces in half to make it longer, to make it look like a tail. That's not bad either. I also found this different colored ribbon I thought was really neat. But again, it's also short. So what I had to do with this is take it apart, stretch it, tie pieces together, get a nice tail section like this. Now that's not bad either. Now whatever tail you choose, make sure that you stick to the same type when you put the other hair for the mane and on the head. Now, once you choose your ribbon, go ahead and start layering your paper all the way up the back till you get to the neck. And that's where we will meet again. Welcome back. As you can see, I already put the colored paper across my back in this direction. And I also did the door here. Now, one of the problems that you're going to run into as the lines of your paper, which run in this direction, meet the lines of the body going this direction, is you're going to have a corner here. And so you need to transition these lines to the neckline, as you see what I did here. Now, what I did was put some small pieces of paper like this, and I put them right where the corner is. And then I ran my lines from my neck all the way up. And now another thing I want to talk about is an issue here underneath the head. Is another difficult area is when you're running your paper from your neck where they meet to the bottom of the head here, is you're going to need to run your lines or lines of paper in this direction, small pieces on both sides. Then you're going to start running your lines or line of paper this way, all the way to the front of the nose, but only go this high. Now the reason for that is, as we continue with our neck, the back of the head, this way, we're going to cover up part of this paper, and we're going to go all the way up to the top of the head. Now, I haven't gone as far. I stopped here, but I'm going to continue up to here where you can see this mark is. And this is a hole I'm going to make, and this is where I'm going to attach the mane. Now you're probably wondering, what is this? This is my Piñata stunt double, and it's here to demonstrate the nose. I tried to film this with the white paper, but it was just too hard to see. That's why I'm using the blue paper. Now, as you're rounding the nose with the colored paper, the first layers are going to go pretty flat. But as you progress further up the nose, as I show you here, you're going to have to bend the paper like this to as you go. As you can see already, I'm already starting to get a U shape here on the nose. So to compensate for that, just use a little piece of paper and cover the low point, and then continue on with the head. As you see, I progressed this far. Now I stopped at this level because of the slot I made here for the mane. I made another slot here. This is going to be another part for the hair that's going to go on the top of the head. Now I went ahead and made the lower part of the mane exactly how I made the tail, and I made it at this length because I thought it looked good. So I'm going to insert it in there to simulate that I really did it permanently. And we're going to back the camera a little bit so you could see the piñata and how it's coming together. Now I'm going to continue covering up the top of the head and the ears, but I'm going to stop here at the base of the cone or the horn, because I would like to talk about that later. So put on some music and just enjoy yourself and be proud of your piñata, because it's going to be a work of art. As you can see, I already covered the head except for the horn and this ear. I wanted to stop here because I wanted to show you how I cover the ears. So you get some glue and you just go all the way around it. And with your paper, you just start at the bottom and go all the way around. I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but I wanted to show you how I cover it. Oh, paper stuck, okay. Now I'm gonna put a little bit more glue here all the way around for the second layer and continue. And I'm going to put some more glue on the top now. Oh, come loose there. Okay. All right, that does it. And continue with our paper. And I bend the paper as I go up because it's not going the way I want. Okay. So now when you get near the top, you could just cut off the end here, put some glue on the tip, and just get a little piece of paper. It doesn't really matter what shape it is, and you just put it on the top of the ear and to cover the tip. And now we have the ears done. What you see here is the hair that's going to go on the top part of the head of the piñata. We have one group of short hair and another group of longer hair, and the letter T that we would normally tape it to when we're done. But because I'm going to use this as an example, I'm not going to connect the letter T to it. So we get our two pieces of hair and we tape them together with some tape. And we're going to put them in a slot on the head that I've already made. There we go. Now I made the slot on the top part of the head right here. Kind of hard to see, but oh, that's it. So I'm going to insert this in it. And the short part of the hair is going to go in the front, as you can see. And the longer hair that's in the back covers the other section of hair. So it looks like one long mane. And that's how we do the hair in this group. And that's pretty much how we do the hair and everything. Now I said we're going to do the cone. I didn't forget. So let's do that next. Now this is the way I decorated the horn on this unicorn. I used the same three colors I used for the hair. And I just put layer after layer, as you can see up there. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can also make it all white, make it all pink, whatever you like. Or you could use something totally different, like wrapping paper that you like. It's totally up to you. You are the artist. Now I'm going to put the hair over the head. So I wanted to focus on the horn. And now you can put the hair on. As you can see, it's starting to come together. I also went ahead and made the eye. Now, as you can see, some of the hair is covering the eye. You can always get some scissors and give it a little haircut so it doesn't go over the eye. Now, I also made the some smiles for the piñata. This is the shape. Basically, I just got a piece of paper, black paper. I cut this shape out and then unfolded it, and I put it on the face here. You can see that. Let me hold it here. Okay. Well, that's what it looks like if you put it on there. And there's also different types of smiles. You're the artist. You might find something better that you like. This looks like a mustache, but it's not. Yeah. You want to put a mustache on your horse? Go ahead. But this is a smile, and this can go right here as well if you like this type of look. Oops. If you like this type of look better. As you can see, I also went ahead and put the little pink piece in both the ears to give it a more colorful look. I will show you how I make the eyes next. Okay, now I will show you how to make the eye for the piñata. First, I got a piece of paper and I folded it in half and I traced a semicircle or type circle. And when I found a line that I liked, you can see that, I darkened it up a little bit more. And if you don't like your line, you can always erase it until you get the way you like. There you see I darkened it. Then I got a marquee, a black one, and I traced the line that I made. Now you don't have to worry about covering up or missing the pencil mark. Just get close, because once it's dry, you can erase the pencil mark. And I used my line. Now, next I did is I folded it in half, and you can still see the line there. So you just trace that line with the marker. You can put a double line, get that line a little thicker. And open it up and you can see the eye forming. So now I'm going to go over it with the marker. And this will be the front of the eye. Okay, there you are. There's our eye. Now you can go ahead and draw some eyelashes. And don't worry about messing up the shape of the eyelashes, because with the scissors, when you cut it out, You can just cut out what you don't like. And I'll put some here. Little curve like lashes. And there you can see the eye starting to form. Now for the pupil, I used green paper and I found a lid. And I traced a circle around it. And then I cut it out. Now I'm going kind of fast just to show you how it's done. So the circle's not going to come out that pretty. And then place it there. And then I got the pupil, which is a different size diameter, which uses a bottle. This one, little perfume bottle, I think that is. And I cut that out. I place it in the eye. And then I got this little bottle of hand sanitizer and I put it on a white piece of paper and I traced it, as you can see. And I'm going to cut that out now. Again, I'm going kind of fast, but normally I take my time. And then I put it there. So now you have the eye. Now what I did next was I glued them all together in that place. But if you want to move the eye around different ways, you can play with it and see what you like. You know, move that up here, down here, in the corner, or right in the middle if you like. It's totally up to you. And then that's pretty much it after I cut it out. And that's how I made the eye. Now, if you're wondering the size of the eye that I have made, this is it right here. And that's how I made the eye of the piñata. Okay, now I'm going to attach the eye that I made to the piñata. I attach it using the clear tape. Here, I'll stand in front of the camera so you can see the tape. And then I roll it. I roll the tape so it's like a little tube. See that? And I place it behind the eye. And I'll make two of them. Make two. There's another little tube. And I put them on the eye, behind the eye. And I also bend the eye since we're attaching it to a curved surface on the head. So I'm going to bend the eye, pre-bend it. There we are, so it's kind of curved. Well, doesn't look very curved, but okay, now that's better. And I'm just going to place it on the eye here. And now she's done. Now, if you like the eye, that's great. But if you want to make your own, you can go online and print different types of eyes if you don't want to draw it. Another final note is all the hair, all of them were done of 30 pieces each, 10 of each color. Also, I went with this smile here because I thought it was pretty neat. I hope you like it, but you know, you can like it. If you don't, that's okay. You can make it any way you want. And I didn't put any little nose holes. Some folks put little nose holes on the tip, but you can if you like. It's your piñata. Hi, thank you for watching the video again. As a bonus, we're going to have a little fashion show where our piñata will be wearing 3 different hairstyles, some dollar store bling, and some stars that I taped on, made from the plastic material behind me. Please enjoy. you had as much success with your piñata as I did with this one. I really enjoyed making the video. I thought the piñata came out pretty well. Now, if you and your child don't feel like destroying this piñata and want to keep it as a decoration, go ahead. I'll be here in case you want to make another one. Please hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and please leave a comment if you like. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next video.